How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today I bring you a brief video about the vote that just happened on Capitol Hill as it relates to our next Supreme Court Justice, Brett Kavanaugh. Yes, I am confident that he will be elected our next Supreme Court Justice tomorrow, Saturday, October the 6th, 2018, when that vote happens. Today's vote was to invoke cloture. What that means is that there will be no more debates, no more surprises, no more filibustering. We're going to go ahead and vote tomorrow to get Brett Kavanaugh either confirmed or denied. And like I've said, I'm pretty confident that he will be confirmed. Now, the key thing in this are the four senators that voted in a way that was not expected, was expected, or was different than their party. Let's name the Republicans first. Now, you have Jeff Flake from Arizona, Susan Collins of Maine, and Lisa Murkowski of Alaska. Flake and Collins both voted in the affirmative. They voted aye, but Lisa Murkowski, unfortunately, voted against. Now, I'm reading stories talking about she was talking to Alaskan constituents for hours, victims of sexual assault, all this, that, and the third. So that's her excuse. She was talking to people and then they were telling her about their story. So then that kind of inspired her to vote against ending cloture, which is not even the confirmation. We're not even in the confirmation phase yet. That happens tomorrow. She doesn't even want to end the discussion. And the FBI did their investigation. They didn't find anything. That was nothing burger. This is the 7th FBI investigation into this man. What more do you need? You're leading with your feelings and that's your brain here. But to move right along, thank you to Jeff Snowflake. I'm going to still call you Snowflake, boss, because I don't like you all the way. But thank you to Jeff Flake and Susan Collins for voting in the affirmative. Hopefully you do the same thing tomorrow because this was a narrow victory, 51-49. The man, in my opinion, who was able to bring it to 51 was Joe Manchin, the Democrat out of West Virginia. Now, he voted against his party line, in my opinion, because you're in West Virginia. If you want to be reelected, if you want to keep your job, you can't vote against Brett Kavanaugh. West Virginia voted for Donald Trump. They will vote for him again in 2020. I think 40% of his particular constituents voted for Donald Trump. So he doesn't really have much of a choice but to vote for Brett Kavanaugh. If he does not, then he's pretty much done in West Virginia. And he can't really switch parties or anything like that. He's where he is, and he's not even all the way really a Trump guy. So he has to vote that way. What it's going to come down to tomorrow is people like Jeff Flake and Susan Collins. I think Lisa Murkowski, you pretty much know, since she voted against ending cloture, she would not change her vote in a positive way tomorrow, 24 hours or whatever from now. And you know that Manchin can't do it. So it's going to be between Jeff Flake and Susan Collins. Susan Collins has a press conference coming out at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. Right now, it's about 12:43 Eastern time. So we'll know in a few hours, I guess, after this video was up, what she's going to do, what she's thinking about. But I've read that the GOP is pretty confident that she'll vote in the affirmative tomorrow to go ahead and get Brett Kavanaugh confirmed. At the end of the day, as I close, I just want to say that this whole process has been a real circus, and it's going to discourage good, upstanding people from coming into public office. Why would you want to come into a pit of vipers like this if you are a good man or a good woman? You have a name that you have built up over a period of many years, and then you just see it evaporate into thin air just like that. One accuser, two accusers, people making up stories, and then people believe it. People politically have their own motivations behind it because let's be clear, the Democrats, even if they believe that Brett Kavanaugh is innocent, can't really go against their party line because of where they live. They are up for re-election. It's about job security. It's the same thing with Joe Manchin. If Joe Manchin was in California or something like that, he would easily vote against Brett Kavanaugh. But since you're in West Virginia, a very conservative state that voted for Donald Trump, that kind of flip-flops sometimes between Republican and Democrat as far as their state leadership, you can't really go against Kavanaugh because everybody knows at this point that voting against Brett Kavanaugh is simply voting against Donald Trump because you don't like what he stands for. It's not even about the allegations, which the FBI investigated and didn't find anything. There's no smoking gun. There's no real confirmation. People changing stories. Stories aren't really accurate. You got people coming on stage talking about, I don't know when it was. I don't know where it was. Is that and the third. So we'll see Saturday what happens. I may go live or do something like that. I'll definitely do my show tomorrow, and we could talk about our next Supreme Court justice. And if for some reason, knock on wood, Brett Kavanaugh is not confirmed, that's going to be really crazy for people who should have voted for him that did not. I think Jeff Snowflake and people like Bob Corker, they're going to be out of politics anyway. So for them, it may not even matter. But for Joe Manchin, Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, it really is going to spell doom for their career if they don't go the appropriate direction and vote in favor of Brett Kavanaugh. So what do you think? Do you think that Brett Kavanaugh should be confirmed? If you think so, please explain to me why. If you don't think so, please explain to me why. What more evidence do you need that this man is not guilty of what he's being accused of, or at least there's not any evidence to support it? It's possible that anybody could be guilty of any allegation, but you got to be able to prove it. You can't just come with baseless claims and say, oh, this is true, and then judge him based on that and have your actions be based on that particular judgment that you made without any real concrete physical evidence, no circumstantial evidence, no witness corroboration or anything like that. You have the word of a few people here and there that say he did a thing. That's not really enough. But do you think that some of these senators will get scared and go the other way? And by the way, please keep these people in your prayers if you're Christian or whatever it is, because they're going to need it. People like Jeff Flake, especially Joe Manchin, the Democrat, voting against the line. I think he's the only Democrat that is going to vote against the party line. But you have 3 Republicans that may do it. You know, like I said, Flake and Collins, I think they're pretty much going to be there in the affirmative, but they're still kind of on the edge. Lisa Murkowski obviously is not going to vote in the affirmative since she voted against him just to end the debate we're having right now. That's been raging on for far too long. But that is pretty much all I got. So whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.